or it should be shortly.
Oh yeah, I see your stream coming up there.
The magic of Twitch.
All right, so it looks like we are live. Awesome.
Woo! Once again, we are back.
We're doing it live.
Because I don't know how to do recorded.
All right, so I guess this time I'm doing the intro. So what is up, people of the internet? This is Gamers Insight. My name is 7-Bit Brian, and that is Brandedwolf. This is our podcast show where we talk about stuff and things. Stuff and things. Yeah, that's what we do. Stuff and things. So, yeah, it's a great podcast show. In case you haven't caught on to that yet, you should definitely come and check us out over at Brandedwolf's Twitch channel and on both of our YouTube channels. So, like we start off every show, meaning the last show, because we've only done one of these, I first want to talk about what we're playing this week. So, Brandedwolf, tell me a little bit about what you're playing.
That would be a whole lot of nothing. Lately, honestly, I've just been working overtime with work, so I really haven't touched anything. The only thing I've actually played is Warhammer Vermintide lately.
Blasphemy. This is a gaming show, man. You have to play video games.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, no, just because of work and, 5 days a week, 10-hour days, I've been kind of tired. But no, I have hit up Warhammer Vermintide simply because they're doing like a holiday giveaway every day, so free loot is nice.
I mean, yeah, that's always good. That's always good. But man, just tell work, look, I need more time for video games, okay?
Yeah. If the mouse would allow that, I would definitely do it. Yeah.
All right, so myself, I've been playing EVO Online and Guild Wars 2 as always. There's never going to be a week that goes by that I don't play these games unless something's going on or I'm just like burnt out on them and want to take a small break. But I've also been recently, finally, it's been out for a while now, but I'm finally diving into Skyrim Special Edition.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got it for free because I owned Skyrim on Steam with like every DLC, all of the stuff. I owned it all, right? So I got Skyrim Special Edition, and when it came out, like the day it came out, I downloaded it. But I've been so busy with other games and life and the holidays, I haven't actually given it a shot. This week I have dove into Skyrim Special Edition, and I have to say, it's classic Skyrim. I'm glad people are already updating the mods to work with that, though, because it makes Skyrim so much better. But it is a much more beautiful game now. They really put some work into it, I will say that.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that. Yeah, one day I should probably play Skyrim again and maybe get further than I did before without getting sidetracked. Because I bought all the quests, the DLC and everything, and I've got the remaster free. Oh man, I don't remember what I did. I was doing something with Mage Guild and I just got sidetracked with my homemade paladin.
The thing to know about Skyrim is no matter what type of character you go into the game and creating your character thinking you're going to play, that character will end up as a sneaky archer.
Yeah, it's hard because no matter what I was, even here I am in full plate mail playing as some sort of one-handed paladin, and I just always sneaked everywhere. It's like, whoa, my sneaking skill is going up. Okay, sure.
I don't know what it is about Skyrim, but like you can go into it with like, I'm gonna create this cool mage character. He isn't gonna carry a single weapon. He's gonna do nothing but cast things. 30 hours in, I'm like Assassin's Guild or Dark Brotherhood or whatever it's called, like full black body armor, sneaking around with a bow, sniping people from like a mile away.
Yeah, no.
Then I think back, I'm like, what happened to that mage thing? Whatever, snipe.
No, it's the Elder Scrolls games. Because at the end of the time, when you get deep enough into it, certain things just become kind of OP, and sneaking and a good arrow shot, especially enchanted arrows, yeah.
Yeah, if you work your way all the way down the archery tree where you get like, you can stun, or stagger, they call it. You can stagger all enemies in the game except for the very largest enemies, so like dragons and stuff, 50% of the time, and also something like 25 to 50% of the time, your arrow can actually paralyze a target, and then you have like the slow time mode where you're holding your breath. It is kind of OP.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, no.
But yeah, everybody knows Skyrim. So I'm going to jump into the first thing we want to talk about this week, and then I'll let you jump into something there. But I just wanted to bring this up. There's not a lot to talk about around it, but I did wanted to bring it up because this was a huge week for Guardians of the Galaxy. because we got the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which was an amazing trailer. Like, oh my god, that was so good. It was everything I ever dreamed of and more. And then now, Telltale, of all people, are making a Guardians of the Galaxy game. It's been announced. We got some information on that. I'm a huge Telltale fan. I'm a huge Guardians of the Galaxy fan. Like, even the comic books, I like those. So this is a big deal. This is... the only thing I could just say is, oh, yes.
Yeah, no, you know what, man? I vaguely remember back in the day before the movies came out reading some Guardian stuff because I used to be big into comics. And then the movie came out. I was like, okay, this looks awkward, but let's give it a try. Because one, I like Chris Pratt, and I went, why not? It's got Vin Diesel voicing Groot, and I gotta admit, I love the movie. But the thing I walked away from that movie was the soundtrack. Like that was the soundtrack for me because it had so much music that was the vibes, and then the preview for the next movie looks amazing. Little Groot is awesome, and then Telltale Games, yeah.
Oh yeah, they got the soundtrack perfect, and it looks like for this new movie, what they're playing so far, it again fits perfectly so far with what they're putting out there. He's just James Gunn is great. He's working with his producers and everything. Like, I think he's got this on lock, and I think Telltale, the type of developer studio they are, I think they're going to work that into it as well. They've got this license, so they can use that soundtrack as well. I think that's going to be worked into the game.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can't see them not trying to do that. I mean, I would love for them to get the actual voice, the actual actors, but I don't think because that's money. But I mean, yeah, I'm hoping they do well because you know what? I'll be honest. I love Telltale games. The last couple ones I haven't picked up, but I've heard disappointment from general people. So I'm hoping, this and then with what the topic is, that it could be pretty interesting.
Well, see, me, I haven't really been disappointed. I like Telltale's gameplay loop. Yes, they haven't expanded upon it a lot and done much with it, but it works. And don't break what works. It works to tell a compelling story, and that's what those games are to me more than anything else. Is them telling a compelling story.
True. No, yeah, definitely. I still haven't picked up Batman. I probably will one day when it goes on sale. But yeah, everything I've actually enjoyed every Telltale game I played. I own most of them. I'm not gonna lie, Walking Dead just there's so many feels it wasn't even funny. But yeah, I'm hoping they do well with this.
Yeah, so am I. All right, so moving on to the next topic, I'm gonna let you take this one. What do you got?
Well, yeah. Let's talk about the Game Awards, shall we?
Oh yeah, let's
Yeah.
do
Let's
that.
talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah, I think
It's
that sums it up pretty well.
I can't even. I mean, I watch this and sure, there's some stuff that comes out that's exciting. You learn there's new trailers and which we'll talk about other stuff. But then there's just it's just like half the show is advertisements, which I guess I get they need money. But like since some of the hosts are just so like trying so hard, it hurt. It was just bad.
The thing that stood out the most to me is it's called the Game Awards, but the actual awards themselves took up the least amount of the show. I think if you added up all the musical performances, that was longer than the actual award ceremony parts. If you added up all the trailers and advertisements, most definitely longer than like it was the least part of the show. It felt like that was what was tacked on, and then the rest of the show was what the show was actually about. And I don't.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, the musical performances like I think one of the beginning ones like they couldn't host the show on YouTube because it'd get them banned, and then the other one was I guess they're part of the whole mannequin meme, but I don't know what that has to do with gaming, and I don't think they're actually playing live. Like honestly, out of all the music performances, the only one that mattered to me was Doom, because Doom was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the musical performances weren't bad, but they felt out of place to me at a Game Award show. The fact that there were so many, and I don't know, it just felt out of place to me. Maybe open the show with that or end it with that and just one thing, you know what I mean? Just the Doom. That would have been perfect because then it's a musical performance. It's awesome, but it also has that connection to gaming. This is the Game Awards. But the rest of it really felt out of place to me. It didn't fit. It felt like they were just trying to fill the show because the Game Awards themselves were just so tiny the actual award ceremonies, they could have been done in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, the awards were interesting. I guess you could say some of them. We can all argue about all the different things they did about how all their action genre games were all first-person shooters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, the awards are like everything that was nominated and everything that won was like what you thought was going to be nominated and what you thought was going to win. There was really no surprise here. Basically, if you named a category, I could have gave you one or two games, and they're going to win. Period. That's it. I mean, maybe it was just the year. Maybe this just wasn't a great year for gaming. I feel like it was though. Like we had some good stuff, but I don't know. When I look at the list of winners, it's just for me, it was all obvious.
Yeah, no, it was a good year for gaming. I think. I just think there were definitely a lot of shooters this year. If you look like say Overwatch, Battlefield, what have you. But I just don't think. I don't know. Even like the indie awards, like a lot of stuff won, and like some stuff that I thought should have won, like Firewatch. I think should have at least rolled away or something. Didn't. And so
Speaking of Overwatch, since you brought it up, great game. I love it. I play it. I'm not very competitive. I don't play the seasons that much, and I think it's funny when people get all serious and try to tell me what character I should play. But anyways, especially when we're not in actual season mode, we're just playing a quick match. Like, what does it matter? Shut up. But but then Overwatch, it won quite a few categories, and it deserves it. It's a great game, right? But then it wins best esports game. How? How? It hasn't Overwatch's esports league been out for like a month or two? Like barely,
well,
it barely exists.
yeah, it's not even really live. I mean, they do the competitive play, but they said they're doing the esports thing, but I don't think that even starts till January. So how that gets best esports over something like CS:GO, which I'm horrible at, but I admit there is an esports community there. I don't get.
Yeah, looking at the other what they call the runners up, CS:GO, Dota 2, League of Legends, Street Fighter 5, all huge esports games that have huge tournaments that go with them and have been around and have got a established esports, like community and everything, not just barely starting out like Overwatch. These what I just I'm speechless. I don't know. Again, Overwatch won some things that were. I understand why they won, but this, I'm just like, what? Are you just trying to like kiss Blizzard's butt so they're paying advertising bucks?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Blizzard needs to throw them advertising. I mean, let's be honest. But it's crazy the way they set that stuff up because it makes no sense whatsoever. But I don't know. I believe a lot of this was so much BS. It's not even funny. But what do I know? I'm just here.
Yeah. So while I'm ripping the Game Awards a new one for like just having so much stuff out of place and barely any awards, and Overwatch being the ultimate esport ever when it doesn't even have an esports community yet. But I also give it some credit here. I love the fact that they had the category for best fan creation. I love the fact that more and more and more games developers and the whole gaming community is recognizing modding, not just modding but fan films and things like that. And I love what actually won for the fan creation. It's Enderal, the Shards of Order, which is it's a Skyrim mod. It's really really awesome. So I love the fact that they've put that in there because there's a huge community around the whole modding in video games, and it's been ignored for a very very long period of time. And the past few years, it's really been recognized a lot more, and I love that they threw that in there.
No, yeah. I think they did really well with that. Like I looked at the mod, haven't actually touched it myself, but it looks fantastic. I'm glad that they actually did that and had that kind of category for video game awards.
Of course, it was also a fan voted category. It wasn't one of their best, one of their picks. So they just threw it in there to throw people like me a bone. But I'm still happy they did it.
Very, very true. And let's not forget Hydro Man.
Oh God,
Hydro Man.
don't remind me about that.
Hydro Man. His loop strip wins all.
That was like the cringiest thing I have ever seen. Like I quite literally rolled my eyes multiple times at freaking Hydro Man. I was like, just stop. Just you know that meme with Michael Jordan. He's like, just stop, please stop. That was me.
Yeah, that covers it pretty much. They could have done a lot better than what they did, but they did what they did, and we're stuck with it, I guess, because there's not a lot of game awards out there. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great or good in my opinion. It was just some parts that like really didn't fit to me. But moving beyond that and my personal gripes with the awards, what do you think about? There was a lot of controversy around Doom winning Action Game of the Year, but it didn't get Game of the Year. It got beat out by Overwatch. What do you think about that?
Um, well, I'll agree that Doom action, sure, yeah. I mean, I love that game. It's amazing, and the soundtrack is what makes it part of what it is. But as a shooting game, it's great. The gameplay is amazing. The story, what there is of it, fits for Doom. And so, in my opinion, yeah, it can be action game of the year. Great game of the year. I don't know because there's a lot. Did Overwatch deserve game of the year? Maybe. It's a good game, but I mean, yeah. I mean, I love Overwatch. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Blizzard fanboy. I'm not gonna lie about it. But did it deserve game of the year? Did Doom? I mean, like I said, good games.
I don't think Doom deserved Game of the Year, but I'm also trying to think of what came out this year and what, in my opinion, would be the Game of the Year over Overwatch. And let me think here. For me personally, it would probably be something like Uncharted 4, but that's just because for me, that's that type of story developed game, that narrative game that speaks to me much more than like a game like Overwatch. I love them both, but I feel like Uncharted 4, just personally, beyond just my personal, that speaks to me more. It also appealed to a larger amount of gamers than something like Overwatch did. So I think maybe it should have won, but I'm not mad at Overwatch winning either. I'm not saying, that one, I'm just okay, whatever. But it winning esports, no.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with you too, because to me personally, a game of the year is something that is story driven, that has an experience. I mean, but then again, if you look at Overwatch, there is quite a bit of lore and story in there if you're willing to dig for it, because it's all out there. It's kind of crazy, but I mean,
Yeah, those animated shorts they're putting out make me say, screw the game, put out like an actual like Pixar type movie, and I will pay you all the money
yeah,
because
one
those
day
things are amazing.
maybe Blizzard will catch on one day and not make a Warcraft movie, and if they do, make it just simply in house without any live actors. I'm just saying.
Yeah, seriously, like make a Warcraft. Like, the way you're doing the Overwatch animated shorts, do some animated shorts for Warcraft, or make a Warcraft TV series or movie that way. It would do a lot better than the Warcraft movie did, which wasn't horrible. I won't say that was a horrible movie. It was okay, but it wasn't. It wasn't nearly as good as it could have been or should have been.
True, very true. But yeah, no. Overwatch Game of the Year, sure. Why not? Could have something else been it? Yeah. Am I disgruntled about it? No. But
Yeah, I feel kind of the same way.
but yeah, overall, that was the Game Awards. There were some awards that's kind of okay. I think Inside took most of all the indie awards, which I've heard is a good game, which I will probably never touch because there's children involved in it, and that kind of stuff just gets to me too hard sometimes. But I believe some other things happened as well last week.
Yeah, we also had. I mean, there's two other things that I want to bring up. I guess I'll start with the smaller one first, just because the other one there's a lot to go over in this one, so I don't want to get into that right now. I guess I don't know. Final Fantasy 15 came out. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, or maybe I should say I used to be a huge Final Fantasy fan. I don't know. For me personally, I haven't been extremely excited for a Final Fantasy game since like 10 and 10-2 came out. It just seems like the series, it's not like the classic Final Fantasies, and I get you have to evolve with the times and everything like that, and a lot of people love the newer ones, but they never really captured me as much. But clearly I'm in the minority there because Final Fantasy 15 is the fastest selling game in the series history. Like it's launched and it's sold faster than any other Final Fantasy game ever. Not more, but faster. So clearly people like it, and I'm hearing a lot of good things about it, which makes me think I should get off my high horse and actually check it out. But it just the trailers and the feel of it just didn't capture me like the old Final Fantasies did, and maybe that's just because I played 1 all the way through 10 2 like religiously when I was growing up, and I'm burnt out on those games. I'm not sure, but yeah.
No, no, I kind of agree with you on those points because I remember when I first saw the trailer back in the day for 15, I was literally like, what's with all their, why are they all so glammy? Why are they all in a car? I don't. And I had the same thoughts, like, man, okay. I mean, I've been out of Final Fantasy so much, like, I play the MMOs because I like them, but the last solid Final Fantasy I played was probably 8. But, yeah, no, it's kind of amazing. It's done well. I've seen it done well. I will maybe one day pick it up if I ever get a PlayStation 4, but that's another topic. But it looks like it's done well. They really are pushing it. Like the last TwitchCon, they pushed it pretty hard, and what they showed looked good. The fact that they have crafting for food and the combat looked really nice on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to let my personal gripes get in the way of like highlighting how good of a game it is. From every review I'm reading and every person on Twitch that I've checked out playing it and talked to about it, had a conversation and chat about this game. It is a wonderful, wonderful game. I'm just the weirdo that my favorite Final Fantasy game is Tactics, which there's like 3 games in the world that are even like Tactics. So it's so niche, it's ridiculous. But this game is extremely, extremely well done. It just maybe is not the game for me. I don't know. I'll probably give it a shot when I pick up a PS4. I hadn't picked up a PS4 yet because I'm mostly a PC gamer, but there's some stuff, not Final Fantasy 15, but I'll pick it up because why not? But there's some stuff that is now coming out that makes me say that basically I have to pick up a PS4 now. It is not an option. I will be buying one.
Yeah, no, that's on my lips too. And I do want to talk about that as well. But I want to take a step back and go back to the video games award for a second. I want to talk to you about the actual gameplay trailer they had going for Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh yeah. I watched that.
Yeah, because I'm a big Mass Effect fan. I love them. I will argue as well as like everybody else about the ending for 3 was, but I love the story. I love the characters. I love what BioWare did. And if I actually finally see gameplay for Andromeda, and it looks gorgeous, and I cannot wait for this thing to come out.
I'm in the same boat, but I'm more excited than I am disappointed, but I have a slight disappointed feeling and a big excited feeling. I don't know if that makes sense, but I want to explain that. Mass Effect Andromeda seems like a shift in the franchise, the Mass Effect franchise for me. Because when you watch what they've put out so far and you watch the gameplay trailer, this seems like a great, like exceptionally done game. Like it looks amazing, and I will be purchasing it no matter what. It seems the action is just phenomenal. What I saw in that trailer, it looks amazing. But it also looks like they've moved towards this action-oriented open world experience and moved away from that old school RPG story-driven experience. I'm sure some of that is still in there, but it's not the focus of the game anymore. This looks more like a open world action oriented game comparable to a game kind of like Assassin's Creed. Obviously not the same, but that's the general feel that I was getting from that trailer. Is it's more of an open world action game than it is a RPG game. Of course it's going to have those elements, but yeah, I don't know. I was slightly disappointed that we're losing that RPG feel because that's my favorite type of game, but I'm more excited than I was slightly disappointed because it just looks amazing and fun to play. And I do love open world games as well, so I gotta give it a shot. But again, for me, it was just strange that it's BioWare, like almost everything they do is that RPG experience, and they're moving away from that. I may be wrong here, but everything I've seen so far, it seems like they're moving towards that open world action experience with this. So it's a shift for not only the series but also for BioWare as well.
Actually, I think. Did you ever play Dragon Age Inquisition?
I did And it's I feel like it shifted in that direction as well, but not as much as this game feels like it's going to.
Yeah, I think that's where they're doing that shift, but I don't think it's going to be too actiony. Because I mean, to me, like for three hit the sweet spot, right? Because one was like very much RPG, two was a bit more actiony, and three combined them, I thought, perfectly. And I think they're going to try to do that. Yeah, there's going to be the open world stuff with the new Mako, which yes, but I'm hoping it's not too actiony. But at the same time, I think they're throwing that open world thing in there because you are the explorer. You are supposed to find a new homeland for your people, and that's why I think it looks so open world. I mean,
Oh yeah, and I love that aspect. That right there captured me right away. It's just a different version of capturing me, and it's not capturing my story-driven RPG feels. It's capturing my oh my god, I get to go out and in a world and just do what I want and explore and find these crazy things, and I love that as well. So it's yes, but I'm also the weirdo that like my favorite BioWare game. I think the best game they ever did was Dragon Age Origins, and I think they could release no updated mechanics, but just release new stories with that, and I would give them $60 every few months for that.
yeah, Dragon Age Origins was amazing, and I like the second Dragon Age, but Origins was like my fave. Inquisition was good too, though.
The second one was decent. I'd say and from my opinion, the best in the series was Origins. Then I'd say was Inquisition, and then last was Dragon Age 2. It wasn't a horrible game, like some people say it was like the worst game ever. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't really
It's
a
okay.
great game. It was an okay game, yeah.
Yeah, no, but yeah, no,
When you were expecting Dragon Age Origins and then moved on to that, yeah, you were like, what the heck, what?
yeah. It was
But
suddenly a character you didn't make with just this dude named Hawk or Dudette, as the case may be. And it's like, well, I guess that's okay, but what about my guy I made before? I wanted my guy.
But yeah, the game it looks fantastic. I am definitely excited to play it. It just I just for some reason felt like I had to point that out because it seems like a shift in the studio and maybe a shift in gaming period because we're seeing a lot more studio shifting to this open world experience and this basically the open world game. When you look at like the last Lord of the Rings game that came out, that was Lord of the Rings has been all about story. Every game that's ever come out about Lord of the Rings has been about the story behind it. But the last one that came out had a decent story, but it was basically Lord of the Rings, the open world game.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I think that is a shift in gaming. Although at the same time, you still have studios doing quote unquote retro gaming like Tyranny, uh, Pillars of Eternity and such, where that story is definitely there. But with these kind of things, I think you're right. They are shifting a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm not complaining because then we have things like some stuff I'm going to talk about here in a moment that are all story based gameplays. Uh, all right. I'll
Yeah.
stop here. We'll talk about it here
Okay.
in a moment.
So I think we're good with Mass Effect, but I want to revert back to the last topic with Final Fantasy, and both of us saying, yeah, we don't have PlayStations 4. Maybe one day we'll get them. Me, I have a PlayStation 3. I play Destiny on it, and I play MLB The Show, because that's the best baseball game out there, period. That's what I do, because, man, it's all PC for me. And one day, I would like to get a PlayStation 4. But because of something recently, I'm going to have to get a PlayStation 4 now.
Okay, so before we dive into that, I want to ask you something because of what you just said. You just said MLB The Show and Destiny. For this thing we're about to talk about, let's go ahead and I'll bring it up right now. The PlayStation experience happened. It was amazing, but they released a new Destiny trailer with content update there and a new The Show that they're coming out with 2017. What do you think about this? Did you see that?
Yeah, they look great. I mean, the show, it is by far, for gaming wise, there's only two baseball games, which is horrible. Because when I was younger, there were so many. But now it's either the 2K Sports game, horrible rubbish, or MLB The Show, which you have to have a PlayStation to play, because it's only on PlayStation. That was my main reason of buying a PlayStation 3 years ago, was for that baseball game, because it's like my one sports game I like to play. The updates look great. The show constantly improves, and if just little ways, it's constantly improving. The my player experience, the road to the show where you make your guy and you get him up to the big leagues and stuff. It's great. It works. The game online gaming can sometimes have issues, but it's great. And one day, I'll step back into Destiny every now and again. It's not the greatest game out there, but it's fun to play with friends sometimes. And I think both the updates look good for that at the experience.
So speaking of sports games like that, isn't like that like I may be wrong on this, but aren't like all sports games like that? There's basically one big game that's considered the good game, and then there's one other game in the series because they've all been licensed out. Like EA has licenses with the NFL. They are the only game allowed to be out that has any real NFL teams in it and real football stuff in it. So the other game has to be like either college football or just made up football. The same thing with like NHL and basketball and things like that. They've basically got these exclusive licenses, which puts a lockdown on the whole genre there because you can't come out with these other games that might have a different experience because no one really going to buy, a football game where you can't play as your favorite team, whether they be the Ravens or the Cowboys or whatever, where you're just playing as made up stuff. No one wants to play that. They want to play actual football.
Yeah, no, that's basically what's happened to the sports franchises. It's kind of crazy. 'Cause I remember back in the day of Nintendo, Sega, there's so many different versions, and I think the competitiveness helped the games. It made them have to work harder and be better with their product to know to be this is the product everybody wants. And now it's gotten to the point where there's either one or two, so the studios can get away with being lazy. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, there's times like with some of the stuff in the show, I'm like, this is a yearly product. You could have done a little bit more, and instead you just these little like updates here and there. And it's because they know they have no competition. I mean, don't get me wrong, the game is good, it's solid. They usually do upgrade it decently, but as a yearly product, they could do a lot more, I think, personally. But they don't have to because they know everyone who wants that game is going to buy it because that's the only game in town.
Yeah. So moving on from that, the biggest thing out of the PlayStation experience, in my opinion, is the last thing. So we're going to start with the very, very last thing. The thing they said, "Oh yeah, we got one more thing. We're going to show you this," and then it just ended. They walked off the stage. They didn't even talk about it, but they didn't need to because everybody flipped out about this. The Last of Us Part 2. Oh. I mean, like, when they first said, "We've got one more thing to show you," and then it popped up, like, I was staring at the screen like, this looks amazing. What is this? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on? And I could hear people cheering like they knew what it was. And I was like, what? I don't understand. What is this? And then they zoomed out on that stop sign that showed the firefly symbol, and I literally, like, got chills. I was like, oh my god, yes, it's happening.
Yeah, yeah. I think anybody who played the first Last of Us and got the connection that was meant to come from that game wanted something more, wanted more, and we're getting it apparently.
Yeah, and we're not just getting, you know, just something based in the Last of Us world. We're getting a continuation of the story of those characters. We've had games that were just phenomenal before, and the setting was so well, they tried to give us a sequel, but it wasn't a real sequel. It was just, based on a different area of the world, something else going on, and it just didn't grab people as much. Here, they're continuing that original story, and I think that is important here, and that's just, and in this game, from what I understand, it's kind of a flip-flop. Last game, we played mostly as Joel, and we had a little bit of playing as Ellie. In this game, I think we're playing mostly as Ellie. We're going to be playing a little bit as Joel. And I like that contrast there that they're having with the games. As he's getting older and she's getting older, that they're going to play with that a little bit more.
Yeah, no, definitely. I hope they do that. It's the game to me hit so many levels. The first one, and it's just the story was amazing. If that's one thing I'll ever give Naughty Dog is that they can throw good stories. But what sold it, I think, was the acting. And that's like I'm so happy that back in the day I bought the Last of Us Collector's one, which came with behind the scenes stuff. Because when you watch these voice actors in mocap suits actually acting all this out, I mean the raw feeling that's there, that's what makes this game. I mean the story's there, but those emotions, that acting, that's what makes this game, and that's what will make the second one, I believe.
Yeah, Naughty Dog is a master at that cinematic experience, giving you that within the video games. And yeah, the voice actors, and just the animation teams, just the look and feel of the game is absolutely amazing. And this one looks like I know that was pre-rendered video. It's probably not going to be how the game actually looks, but it was, I've never seen something so beautiful in my life. The way you could see like the hair on her arm, and when she tuned the guitar, it left a smeared fingerprint made of blood, and I mean everything about it was beautiful. And then the voice actor for Ellie, Ashley, she's just like phenomenally talented, and that voice, the song was perfect. It fits so well.
No, yeah, definitely, and it's nice to see that they have Joel back and Troy Baker voicing once again. Because honestly, I'm a fan of Troy's. I love his work, just like Nolan knows. But it's good to see them doing this, coming back, and it'll be interesting to see how they continue the story, especially considering how the first one ended.
Oh yeah, I have no doubt they're going to do a great story here. But looking at it, I have no idea what it's going to be. There's a lot of games that end, and when the sequel's coming out, I can guess where the story is going to go and the type of things they're going to do. But right now, thinking in my head, I really have no idea where they're going with this, and that's really, really, really exciting to me. Speaking of Naughty Dog, though, they're huge this week with the PlayStation experience because they had another game there. Did you see it?
Yeah, it's for the Uncharted, or are we talking about something else?
Yeah, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. So it's a new Uncharted game that looks amazing. Like when they showed that little gameplay sequence, what was going on, it looked great, and I was like, "What is this? This looks like an Uncharted game." But what is going on there? Who is this character? And then at the end, they revealed who it is. It's like a spin-off Uncharted game, and it looks great.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I did pick up the Uncharted collection for my PlayStation 3, so I played the first two, and I liked them. They're nice little games. One day, when I do pick up the PlayStation 4, which will be soon now because of The Last of Us 2, I will pick up the Uncharted 4 and give that a roll. It's a good looking series, and it's nice to see that they're continuing to put out more for it.
Yeah, this is an example of what I said earlier, where there's a lot of franchises that after the first successful game, they'll give you another game that doesn't follow the same characters. There's times when that's a good thing, though. For example, they've told Drake's story. It's basically come to an end twice now. It's over. It needs to be over, but there's still more they can do with that universe that they've built there and those other characters. And I like that they are doing that. So this is an example of doing that in a good way.
Very much so, and I'm hoping it works out good for them, because yeah, more money, more Naughty Dog, more stuff they'll make.
Yeah, they've got like a money printing machine here. They just need to continue what they're doing. Just keep putting out these cinematic experiences just plugged into a video game, allowing us to play through that. It's basically like I'm going to a movie, a very, very long movie, like I'm going to a whole trilogy of movies in one video game. But instead of just watching the movie, I get to actually be a part of it and experience it and affect it in some way. They have mastered that, and it's basically printing them money.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy what they've done. But there are a few other things that this PlayStation experience as well, correct?
Oh yeah, quite a few. I don't know if you saw. It actually had me a little bit confused, but we're getting finally, Crash Bandicoot. We're getting a new Crash Bandicoot game. How long has it been?
I don't even want to guess. I mean,
Like
yeah.
years. It has to have been over 10 years now. I actually don't know when the last one came out. I'd have to look it up. But it has been such a long time. And apparently this isn't just one game. It's called the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. It's all in one, but it's like 3 games. You're buying the one pack and getting all 3 games. And I was a little bit confused as to what it was because they just showed the trailer and then said, yeah, that's coming out, and then dropped it there. They didn't really give us a lot of information. I think it's a remake of the of 3 past Crash Bandicoot games, because they showed like some classic original Crash Bandicoot gameplay on the original PlayStation. And then they showed like the same exact gameplay updated with the new graphics and the new gameplay. But it was clearly the same exact part of the level and things like that. So I think they're remaking 3 of the older games and just updating them. So it's not like a new Crash Bandicoot, but it still looks amazing. And there's a lot of people that have been itching for a game like Crash Bandicoot to come back on the PlayStation again. So there's a lot of people excited about it.
Yeah, and hopefully with like a release like that, if it is just a remake of things, so to speak, it'll get more popularity going again, and maybe they'll do something new now.
My hope is maybe not all three of the games, because it's a trilogy. Maybe not all three are remakes. Maybe one or two of them is, and then the other one or two is actually a new experience within the franchise. That's my hope. But again, I don't have a lot of information on it yet. I didn't have a chance to research as much as I wanted. What I could find didn't really have a lot of details.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it's something worth the wait. Let's just say. I do want to talk about something else. I saw the trailer there, and I watched a streamer I like to follow play it last night. Let It Die.
Oh yeah, yeah. I I haven't been able to watch someone play it yet. I just saw the trailer and I looked up a little information on it. I didn't know whether to feel like, oh my god, this is awesome and hilarious, or like cringe, because it just seems like video game and pop culture memes. They took all of them and turned them into a video game.
Yeah, I don't know, but the one interesting thing I found out about this is that it's free to play on your PlayStation. So I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, so it's a PlayStation game. It's free to play apparently because I was looking up on their website. I was like, oh, okay. And then I was watching a streamer play, and apparently your person you make, you play through it and try to get higher levels and stuff. But when you die, it's kind of roguelike. When you die, a copy of that character is made and thrown out into other people's games. So it's a pseudo kind of multiplayer experience, but not really. I thought that was kind of neat.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I didn't know whether to be like excited for the game and like, oh my god, this is so funny, it's awesome, you know, or to cringe at it, because some of the stuff I was just like, really, that's the concept they went with like the over the top, oh my god, senpai and this and that, just made me want to cringe. But other parts of it just made me want to cringe so much that I was laughing and I was like, yes, yes, okay, yes, you went so over the top, it became awesome. I'll have to check it out more. Again, I didn't get to see, I haven't been able to play it, and I haven't been able to watch a few streamers play it yet, so I will give it another shot there. But it was, I don't know, it gave me mixed feelings.
Yeah, but it's definitely something I think it's worth a roll. See what happens. But yeah, it's the PlayStation experience this year was kind of interesting. They had a few things.
Oh, yeah. Tacking on top of that, they showed a really cool trailer, which is kind of old now because the game came out like right after, like a few days later. But for The Last Guardian, and if we again talk about, you know, great storytelling and great visuals, this is one of the games that's going to make me buy that PS4. Is It looked phenomenal, and I can already tell with the reviews it's getting in the few streams that I've watched, and I watched PewDiePie play a little bit of it. It is a great game. They did this series justice. What he released here is, I mean, it's what everybody was hoping for, and I'm excited to play that.
Yeah, no, it looks pretty good. I just remember all the hype for the game because they kept dragging it out. But I'm glad they finally came out with it, and it'd be interesting to see how it rolls from here.
Yeah, it definitely will. Like, that's one of the games I could say that the hype was probably way over the top, but I would say that it kind of lived up to the hype. One of the few out there that, because hype most of the time is just too over the top and no game lives up to it. But there's been a few out there that somehow they live up to it.
Yeah, no, it's been harder and harder to find games that stick to what they say they'll do, but this one looks like it'll go for it.
Another thing I wanted to mention is because it stood out to me because it seems like it's a return more to the roots of the series. But Resident Evil 7, did you see the trailer for that?
Yes.
Resident Evil it started out as very much a horror game and a horror series. Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3 were great. And 4 was an amazing game, don't get me wrong, but it became more of like this action shooter. with 4, and it kept expanding upon that and getting away from its true horror game roots. You know, it was getting into the more jump scares, and then just most of it's just being action, right? 7 looks like it's going back to the roots. This is at its core a scary as fuck game.
Yeah, no, and that's interesting to see because I remember playing one. I actually remember playing it at my friend's house, and it was late at night. We had the lights off in his room. We were playing, and then the jump scares hit. And I'm looking forward to see what they do with this because I liked 4. I liked the action direction, but after a while, that's what so many survival horror games are doing. It's nice to see them go back maybe to the horror route and less the actiony route.
Yeah, four was a great game. I'd say it was a good mix. It had that horror element still in there, but it mixed that action well. I would say with like 5 and 6 and some of the other games that came out that weren't numbered, they went far too much into the action and away from the horror. There were more action games set in like weird horror settings, but that really weren't horror games. They weren't scary. They weren't, creepy at all. They were. But this one looks like it's trying to find that right balance again, that right mix, and I'm really looking forward to seeing if they can pull that off.
Yep. I'm thinking they'll do well with it. I mean, it's their franchise, and they need to do something because, yeah, they don't have a lot of franchises that are making the kind of money they used to.
Yeah, most definitely. So the last thing out of the PlayStation experience that stood out to me personally would have been Horizon Zero Dawn, which to me it's a new franchise, and they've already talked about they want to make this a franchise and a series of games. So I guess the Horizon series of games. The first one will be Zero Dawn, and it's very, very interesting to me. It gives me that open world Skyrim type feel, but the setting behind it isn't the fantasy trope setting. It's set in an almost like open fantasy world, but a sci-fi mix to that world because there aren't animals out there. There's robot animals and I don't know. It's intriguing. Let's put it that way. It caught my attention a lot.
Yeah, I remember seeing the trailer back for this in the day, and I was like, okay, this looks interesting. This looks different. Um, I'm hoping it does well because I love to see new games that do well instead of just falling flat on their face. And unfortunately, that's been a bigger thing of late. But this does look nice.
Yeah, it looks very interesting. Like I said, it looks like it's trying to mix the sci-fi and fantasy type settings and basically plug you into this open world where there's this story and there's this underlying path that you want to follow, but you're allowed to just go out and do things and have these dynamic experiences, kind of like you would in a game like Skyrim and things like that. So it like I said, it caught my attention. It looks like it's going to be really good. We need some new franchises because they keep putting out newer and newer games based on the older franchises, and it seems like they're milking a lot of these games and they're running out of those creative juices, and we're getting, it's almost like they're ruining these series. So I want them to continue to develop more franchises like this that they can make new games out of rather than milking those old games.
Yeah, and it's the same thing you're actually seeing from movies too. It's like, oh, we're gonna remake this movie, remake this. It's just,
Yeah, it gets old kind of fast. Even when you have, there's good ones and there's bad ones. The Mad Max continuation was amazing.
oh yeah,
It was amazing. But then when you look at like the new Ghostbusters movie, I'm
I
sorry,
still haven't seen it, and I don't feel
it's
like it.
it's funny. It is a good. Go ahead and see it. It's worth a rent. Maybe not go to the theater like I did. I will say that it's worth a rent. It is funny, but it's not a Ghostbusters movie to me, and it didn't add to the franchise like I would have liked it to. They could have made this as its own completely separate movie that had nothing to do with Ghostbusters, and it probably would have been received a lot better. I know there was a lot of fuss over the like, oh, girls, blah blah blah. I don't care, none of that. They were funny, but it just it seems like they had the Ghostbusters brand on there just to milk it, So but then like I said, the remakes, some of them are good. Like the Mad Max one was amazing, and then you look at like the Magnificent Seven remake. It was middle of the road. It
Yeah,
wasn't a
it's
bad
mid.
movie, but it was, it wasn't a great movie. It wasn't nearly as good as the old one, but it also wasn't bad. It didn't like give it a bad name. You know what I mean? And it wasn't like, why the heck did you even make this? Kind of like Ghostbusters. So you have some that are the middle of the road, some that are great. Yeah, you did a great job, but you have most of them are on the bottom of that pile where they're like, why are you doing this? Just stop, please.
Yeah, yeah. But I want to take a step back if we can. Back to the video game awards. I'm sorry, but there was a trailer thrown out there that, well, obviously a lot of hype because Kojima, but Death Stranding.
Oh yeah, I actually meant to bring that up when we were talking about it, and I completely blanked on that.
It melted your brain just like it melted mine. It's okay.
So, Mads Mikkelsen,
Yeah, I mean that's great. I mean, I'm seeing him like, ooh,
he's in everything these days, which I'm okay with because he's phenomenal. Put him in everything. It's
yeah, no,
okay. I'm good
yeah.
with that.
But I honestly I have no idea where Kojima is going with this game, or even if it is a game at this point. I'm beginning to think it's just a visual novel with people in it.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it's confusing as all hell because like watching that trailer, watching the first trailer, it was basically just Norman Reedus. Oh my God, yes, right. So, but this trailer, it was it seemed almost like a World War I, World War II vibe. But then there was these creepy like it seemed like that tank was overrun by I don't know, some kind of like Cthulhu like water demon thing, and and then there was like the weird like ink coming out of everyone and the connecting. I don't know. It was weird. It was creepy, and I want to play it.
Yeah, and the fact that I mean, one of the characters was Guillermo del Toro himself in there. I was like, huh?
Oh
Why?
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, whenever this actually gets released, I'm pretty sure it's gonna blow some minds, or people are gonna overhype it so much, and it's just gonna be like, oh, this is just a game. I don't know which, but it'll be interesting to see when it finally comes out.
yeah. Taking a step back from the game itself, let's talk about Kojima for a second. Maybe it was just me, but did he seem extremely uncomfortable with Jeff Keighley's entire speech about him and all the things about, hey, I tried to give him this award multiple times and he didn't want it, but now I'm going to give it to him anyways? Seemed to me like that whole experience, he was trying to be polite and everything, but he felt extremely uncomfortable with it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but
No, no, I got that too, and it's just I just like, dude, let it go. Don't just like if he doesn't want to take your award, it's fine. It's Kojima. Some people aren't don't want the awards. They don't want the attention, and maybe after last year, what happened to the Game Awards when he couldn't come because of Konami? Maybe that show in general leaves a bad taste in his mouth. And it's not against you. It's just against his personal shit that happened. So maybe he doesn't want to be there.
yeah, it's all connected to that Konami crap that happened to him, and it's for a game that is all connected to that Konami crap that happened to him. So clearly, when he said, he just wants to distance himself from that and put it behind him, Jeff Keighley apparently just didn't listen because he's like, okay, cool, I'll just give it to you live here on stage. What? I
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one because it seemed like he was being very professional and very polite, but like he was extremely uncomfortable and didn't want that to be happening. And it almost made me want to just like walk up and slap Jeff Keighley and just like stop, move on, next segment.
Yeah, that could have been a lot better, but yeah, it happened.
But yeah, I don't know. That stood out to me. But the game itself, if it's a game, again, I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, I want it. They've got me hooked already with who's in it and what they've shown so far. It looks awesome. I mean, it could be a freaking anime, and I haven't watched anime in years. I'm not huge into anime anymore, but I'll get into this one, okay?
Yeah, I know, right? It's like no one really knows what this is going to be, but everybody wants to be like, "Well, I want it. Whatever it is, just give it to me. I don't care anymore."
I mean, what he's put out so far and what we know he's capable of, it it, it makes sense why people are feeling this way. It's not unwarranted.
Very much true. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what that does and how that plays out. But yeah, it was a good week, I think.
Yeah, most definitely. For there's a lot of good gaming news that came out this week. I think there's a few small things. If we move on to the next topic, if you want to bring it up, it's maybe not so good news, but overall it was a great week for gaming.
Yeah, so apparently, Daybreak's current president stepped down.
Yeah, this company just can't get a break.
No, it's just finances, promising certain things in games and not delivering on them. I mean, it's been one thing after other. And if you want, you can go all the way back and say like, oh, this happened because of Star Wars. It's because they screwed up Star Wars. If you want to go back that far, it's like, this is why this company is messing up because of what they did with Star Wars.
I think it's a lot more than that. I think there's been a mismanagement of the series here. Because when you look at Daybreak, or what it used to be, SOE, the games that actually made them the most money, and that still currently make them the most money, is DC Universe Online and EverQuest 2. Neither one of those are huge games, but they're not big games at all. But they're the ones bringing in the money for them. But they're not the ones that are being highlighted and the most money put into and things like that. I think that's a huge mismanagement of their funds, and that's why they ended up. That's why they end up having being sold to Columbus Nova. That's why just a year ago their current president stepped down, left the company completely, said, I don't want to be a part of you guys no more. We get this new guy, and now a year later, he's stepping down as well. It's been nothing but trouble for this company, and I feel really bad for them, because when you look at the EverQuest franchise, it is an absolutely great franchise. The original game, there's never going to be anything ever like it again. And 2 is a good game. It's not on the level of something like WoW or Guild Wars 2, but it is a very good game. And then DC Universe Online is objectively a good game as well. The developers are really pouring their hearts into this, but I feel like the studios themselves are being mismanaged, and it's a disservice to the fans and the developers, because it's going to end badly. I don't think we've seen the last of this. We're getting bad news like every 6 months or so about these guys, and I don't want it to happen, but I think we're going to eventually see a shutdown, and I really don't want that to happen, because EverQuest is such a huge franchise and has had such an effect on all of gaming, not just MMOs, that it deserves to have the love and funding put into it, and it deserves to be back on top, in my opinion. But because of who's running it, and the type of company they are, Columbus Nova, I know what they do and what they've done in the past with other companies. I don't see this working out well.
Yeah, no, I'm going to agree with you. They're trying to throw so much PR into H1Z1, which does make them money, and they do have championships for and stuff. But like you said, the majority of the money, I mean, I don't have statistics, so I can't look at them, but I'm going to bet, like you are, EverQuest and DCUO. With DCUO, it's basically almost the only game in town where you can be a superhero. I mean, there's
I
Champions
mean,
Online,
yeah, there's
but
champions, but it's
it's
tiny.
not, yeah.
It has its core community, but it's not really going to grow much anymore. But and again, I haven't checked those numbers in a while. But the last time I checked, the ones that made them the most were EverQuest 2 and DCUO, and they keep pouring most of that money into H1Z1. Which okay, fine. H1Z1's a popular game, but it's not growing. It's hit its peak. It's not going to grow anymore. I'm sorry, you're done. You need to start investing money back in these products that are making you money right now and do have potential for growth. DCUO can grow more. It can. They can push that, especially with how big the superhero just craze is right now with the movies. They can push it a lot more than they are, and they can add to the game and push the boundaries in that game a lot more than they are, especially with it being on console and PC. MMOs are blowing up on consoles right now. Everybody laughs at Neverwinter, but it's freaking huge on consoles right now. People playing it and streaming it all the time. So I don't know. Again, it's mismanagement for me. Maybe they know something I don't. Maybe it's investors. I don't know. But from the outside looking in, it seems like they're doing all the wrong things. They're focusing on all the wrong games.
No, yeah, I agree, definitely. And it's just like, there's expansions that just came out for EverQuest 2, and how many people actually know expansions came out? I mean, those games are getting sold, but they're still putting out expansions every couple years. and it's just
Yeah, it's
ugh.
for just content wise, the amount of content you can do. There isn't another game with as much content as EverQuest 2. It has more content than like WoW and Guild Wars 2 put together.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not you like the gameplay behind it and things like that, just the amount of content in the game is phenomenal. And they canceled the new EverQuest, EverQuest Next. Okay, take those resources, put them in the EverQuest 2, and evolve the game. Give it a graphics update. Give it a
God,
actual
yes.
overhaul, and get people back into the game. Look what Final Fantasy 14 did. Now it's a huge MMO. Do that with EverQuest 2. It deserves it. And if you can do that and still keep the amount of content that it's in the game right now, you will get so many players.
Yeah, no, EverQuest 2 definitely I think needs a graphics overhaul. And that's a lot of money, so I don't know the
Yeah,
numbers involved, but that would make it work. If they had a graphics overhaul, because there is, like you said, there's so much content, so much past content, and there's so many guilds devoted to just being like, okay, we're just going to say to this content, so we're only level to this level. Then you hit the lock, which I love about EverQuest 2, and then you just that's what we're working on.
yeah. I mean, I know it's not going to be cheap. A graphical overhaul and a slight engine overhaul where they can update the actual gameplay mechanics to be slightly faster because it is a classic game still. It's a slower game, right? So they need to update it slightly. Uh, but they put a lot of work already into doing that with this EverQuest Next thing. So I feel like maybe they can take some of that and transfer it over. Maybe they are behind the scenes and I know nothing about this. Maybe they are putting in this. I hope they are. But I feel like if those are their cash cows right now, they need to be investing more in their cash cows and trying to get more and more people into their cash cows, not coming up with all these other things like H1Z1. It's not growing. I'm sorry, it's not. They keep putting more and more money into it, but the player base doesn't seem to have grown.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's reached its peak because people played it and there's just so much wrong with it at launch, and it's still buggy. That there's like, oh, we're just going to do this, or we're going to go and do this, and there's always going to be that survival game out there that people are going to want to play. And I think they've got the amount of people they have. They may get some more. It may grow a little more. You never know. But I think where they're at is where they're at right now.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's not a horrible game. They've done a lot of updates, and there's still a lot of people playing it. But uh, I don't think they're bringing in new people with any of the updates that they've brought out, and so it's not growing the franchise, and it's not making, from what I understand, the last numbers I checked, not making as much money as their other games are. So I think they've hit their peak. Yeah, they can do something different in H1Z1 and possibly grow it as well. But just that type of game, that it's oversaturated at the moment. There's so much to do with that. So people are finding their game. They're either an H1Z1 player or a DayZ player or an ARC player or so on. You know what I mean? They're finding their one and they're settling into it, and it's kind of split that community. And none of them are doing a lot to try to pull in everybody else that went to another game. They're just they've kind of stagnated. I want to say I don't know. It's not like the whole genre of those type of games has died out. It's definitely still popular, but it's stagnated. It's not growing anymore. What you've got is what you're gonna get.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely it's being a dead horse. I think SOE slash Daybreak is just stuck where they are, and unless they get some massive people changes, I don't think anything's going to happen with them. I think it's going to progressively just keep going downhill, which again is sad because I have a lot of memories in a lot of those games. I mean, EverQuest was one of my first MMOs, so it's. I mean, again, it has been around for quite a while, so maybe it's time to call it a day on that one. But still, yeah, it's just going to keep going downhill, I think.
Yeah, EverQuest. I was just talking with someone on Twitch the other night about this. EverQuest is the only game to ever make me actually. I love archers and I love rangers in the fantasy setting, right? EverQuest is the only game to actually make me feel like a true fantasy setting ranger. Most games these days, Guild Wars 2, WoW, they're great, but when you play any kind of like ranger or a hunter in those games, what defines you is I have a bow and arrow and I have a pet. That's it. That's what makes you a ranger, air quotation marks. But that's not what a ranger is. In the EverQuest series, the original EverQuest
You
series
can
back in
track
like
stuff.
2004. Yeah, people paid me to track down beasts for them and enemies for them and things like that. I actually felt like a ranger. There was more mechanics beyond just that, but that's just one perfect example. Yeah, there were people that like were on this quest and looking for this, one mob that spawns, and there's multiple areas it can spawn and blah blah blah, this and that. But they've been looking for it for like weeks and they can't find it. So they're like, hey, you're a ranger. Can you track this for me? And we go out on a quest all that night just tracking down that one thing for them, and I get paid for it. That actually, that feel isn't in MMOs anymore. So EverQuest will always have that spot in my heart there. And if I ever won like the lottery or something, Daybreak and Funcom would be two studios that I would try to become like an angel investor in, because EverQuest deserves to have a lot more love put into it than it's getting right now. And then Funcom, yes, they've had their stumbles and their mistakes, but they try. You can't say that Funcom doesn't try to innovate. They are trying to innovate beyond any other MMO developer out there, in my opinion. They try these new things. They don't always work out, and it gets the company in trouble. But they're trying, and they've got some really great games that have come out of it, like The Secret World, which is an amazing game. So I'd love to see them not be struggling all the time. Of course, I haven't won the lottery. I'm not rich, so
Yeah, I still have the Secret World installed because I go back in it every now and again. It's one of my pleasures.
the story and the story and what do I want to say, the environment, the way the game makes you feel in that game is just top notch. There's really nothing else like it when it comes to MMOs.
No, because there's no like modern type genre setting MMO, and it's got the cult stuff, and aside for the combat, which is meh, the game does a lot of things really well. Unfortunately, it had the chance at the beginning, it kind of dropped the ball, and no one stayed with it.
But yeah, I will say this. I hope they're smart enough to be investing in the products that can make them money and that they can grow. And in my opinion, looking from the outside in, you've got two like golden egg laying gooses sitting right there. DCUO, because comic books and comic book movies and everything about them are huge right now. So let's go with that. And then EverQuest, because even non-gamers know EverQuest. They know that name. They know what's going on. It has that appeal. If you can actually get people excited about that game again, it'll be huge. I hope they're doing that, but in my gut, it feels like we're seeing the death throes of this once great studio, and it's just taking a really long time.
Yeah, yeah, and I hope it works out, but my gut says otherwise. Daybreak eventually is gonna just.
Yeah.
Well, that was a depressing note to end on.
Yeah, I was about to say, are we gonna end on that? That's horrible. No,
Wait, wait. You know what? No, I don't want to end a depressing note. Let's talk about Christmas. Guild Wars 2 Christmas event. You know about that, right?
Yes, they just released some stuff about. Oh, we didn't even have this on the notes. They literally just released some stuff about when the Christmas patch is coming out, which is next week, by the way, and what's coming with it. It looks exciting. It doesn't look like there's a lot new being added to it, just some small things, which is fine. It's a seasonal event. It's not like you expect it to be brand new every year. Like, when was the last time World of Warcraft seasonal events were updated, But they're adding a few things to it, and it's fun. But then another big thing that's going in with it is the next PvP season, which has had huge changes. And basically, it's taken Guild Wars 2's PvP competitive seasons, which used to be like based on like this PIP system and MMR, right? And now it's more comparable, I would say, to Overwatch. You play actual placement matches. You have to play 10 placement matches, things like that. It looks like they've looked at what Overwatch did that was great for their competitive seasons, and they're trying to incorporate that into Guild Wars 2, which is a good thing if you're into the PvP. This can be viewed as nothing but a good thing.
Yeah, and I definitely want to get back into the PvP for Guild Wars. And one more, also final Christmassy note: Overwatch Christmas update thing, Majigger skins.
Yeah,
So
that happens Tuesday as well. I think they're
yeah,
both
so
coming on the same day.
there we go. We got rid of all the bad stuff. We're going for Christmas stuff. Oh, and by the way, I did see Doctor Strange last time. It was amazing.
I still have to watch that. I'm still
I
a little
mean,
bit jealous that I haven't seen it.
it's a thing of if you really read the comics and you love Doctor Strange, you'll love it. If you're just into the Marvel comics, you might have a couple moments of what the fuck, but it's good. I think he's like the perfect Doctor Strange. Just how Morton Downey Jr. is the perfect Tony Stark.
I'm definitely gonna go see it. I'm actually a little bit mad at my local movie theater right now because they decided to do like a Star Wars Rogue One pre-screening like cool event, right? Where it's happening on Thursday instead of Friday, right? You can get these tickets and they're showing at these different times. But I worked that night all the way until like midnight at my IT job. So the night they picked to do it, they don't do this a lot with a lot of movies. They didn't do it with the last Star Wars stuff like that. So I didn't figure they were going to do it. They decided to do it this time, and my friends were like, "Heck yeah, we're going to this!" And I'm like, "Oh, I gotta work."
Yeah, like I'm not sure when I'll see Rogue One because of work, but eventually I'll see it, and I'm sure I'll like it. But Christmas, Star Wars, Doctor Strange, these are all good things right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot coming out in the next few weeks that is good. And, we have the Christmas update for Guild Wars 2. We have the Christmas update for Overwatch. We have the Christmas update for like WoW and all that stuff. We have Rogue One coming out. We got the Assassin's Creed movie coming out, which I'm actually really excited about, and looks like it's going to be a pretty good movie. I'm hoping they pull it off. It looks like there's a lot of good things coming over the next few weeks, and hey, we're probably going to be talking about them on here this show.
Yes.
All right, so I think we can end it there. That's a pretty happy note to end it on. We're excited about what's coming out in the next few weeks. And again, going back, this was a great week for gaming. The Game Awards. Oh, we had a few gripes with them. It's nothing but a good thing. PlayStation Experience was huge. We got a lot of good things that happened this week. Huge announcements like The Last of Us 2, Guardians of the Galaxy game, awesome new trailers for like Mass Effect, things like that. It was a great week for gaming. Truly, it was.
It was, and I'm looking forward to when these things actually get released and how they all look and feel.
All right, so with that, I think we're going to sign off and end it here. My name is 7-Bit Brian. That right there, because you can definitely see me pointing, is Brandedwolf. Brandedwolf, tell them a little bit about yourself, where they can find you, what you want to plug.
You can find me here on Twitch with an E at the end. Don't ask, I won't tell. Twitter, Branded Wolf again. YouTube, Branded Wolf yet again. And watch my stuff. There's not much on there, but I'll try to do more. I promise. Maybe.
And I am 7-Bit Brian on Twitter, and you can find me on YouTube at 7-Bit World. I do have a Twitch, but I'm not streaming yet. I have to get a better PC. But I also want to plug this podcast right here because you know nothing about it, but you're listening to it. Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. But yeah, we're going to be doing this thing mostly every week. Probably going to take a break somewhere around Christmas or New Year for a week so we can, have time or something like that. But we're trying to do this every week to have this this podcast where we can talk about the great things in gaming that have happened each week. So look forward to us next week. We'll be there, and yeah, brownies,
Cookies.
bacon.
Maple bacon.
You win.
Good night.
And that's it. Good night, folks.